I can't remember the last time I ever got fear of missing out. I don't know what that says about me.
You're a boring guy.
I think that's probably right, to be honest. We're going to get nerdy on today's podcast.
We're going into science.
We're going into science. I never really paid attention in science class at high school. I don't know about you.
No, teacher hated me.
Yeah, I mean, but when it comes to marketing, it is actually quite fun. And one of the reasons we thought we'd cover this topic in today's podcast is because we leveraged a lot of these ideas that we're about to go through when it came to actually launching our fitness studio, launching Revamp. And we're going to go into each one. So we've got 8 scientific ways to get members for your gym. Sound good?
I quite like this. This is quite advanced.
Well,
I think this is advanced.
It was the first time that I came with some notes and you actually looked at the notes and said, wow, this is good.
This is, because everyone's rubbish.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I like it. It's pretty advanced. It's going to be, people are going to hear some of these and go, oh, damn, yeah, I can just input that really simple thing, right? So I'm excited about it.
Either that or they might already be using a lot of this stuff already and not realize it after today's podcast. So this all kind of stems from, there's one book I read in the lead up to launching Revamp, and it was called The Choice Factory by Richard Shotton. Okay, so definitely recommend getting that book. But what that does is it goes into all of the different, this is where I'm going to use long words. I've never really used long words before.
Okay.
Cognitive biases of behavioral marketing. Now, isn't that a juicy topic?
For a sales guy like me, I just got lost.
So, we're going to go through 8 of those different biases. First of all, is it biases or is it biases?
Our videographer just goes, I've never had to use bias as a plural before, so I don't actually know.
He goes, I've just realised this second. I've never had to use that as a... Shout
out Henry, the man sitting by our feet right now.
Yeah, we need to get you a seat, by the way, Henry. This is literally every single week he just lays on the floor underneath us.
He's like a very loyal dog.
Yeah, I'm going to start petting him soon. But yeah, we're going to go into 8 different biases that you can use in your marketing to ultimately get new members for your gym. Sound good? We're going to rattle through them. Obviously, we've got 30 minutes or so.
And by the way, if you just gone biases and want to just pause us right now and go listen to something else, don't, because you're going to get to the end of this and go, my God, I've got some light bulbs. So stick with us.
Yeah, number 1. Shall I start or should you start?
You go, man. Yeah.
Okay, number 1 is a bias called loss aversion. Okay. Now, loss aversion is basically creating an image in your customer's mind of what might happen if they don't sign up with your service. So you might have heard of this in terms of like the opportunity cost of not signing up with you. So what I thought would be quite cool is we go through each of these and we actually talk about how we apply them within Revamp.
Yep.
Okay.
So the audience can copy.
Yeah, 100%. So loss aversion is about painting a picture in your prospect's mind of what might happen to them if they don't actually sign up with you or sign up for your gym. Okay. So a really easy way of doing this, and something which is completely objective, is by having some really cool scales set up in your gym. So we have body track scales. They were quite pricey at the beginning, but what it allows us to do is completely optional. During that first consultation, we ask the prospect, look, do you want to get an accurate measurement in terms of how things are at the moment, which then allows us to figure out where they are right now, and then we can work on actually where they want to be, so we can actually build that gap from where they are to where they want to be. And the way that we create that loss aversion is through those scales, because we can actually show that if we can keep on going down this trajectory, things could get worse, things might not go the way that you hope, and we've got the actual measurement and the stats here to back it up.
Love it. Biases number 2, mere exposure.
Biases number 2. It's bias number 2.
Biases. I'm using it as a plural.
Yeah, whatever.
The dog's on the floor right now, just going mental. Mere exposure effect. Being top of mind is the most important thing when you have a studio or a gym or any kind of brick and mortar business, really.
Or any business.
Absolutely
Full
right.
stop.
That is why posting organic content is so important. But I want to talk about how we use it with us. So whenever we're around the high street or whenever we're around our studio, or certainly within a 5-mile radius, we are always wearing Revamp. Revamp clothing, Revamp hats, pretty much everything, because this keeps people thinking about us, keeps people thinking about Revamp. Have you seen the film Focus with Will Smith?
Yes.
This is basically goes into this bias,
Yeah.
doesn't it, Jake?
Yes.
Where they put certain numbers in front of a subject and it just repeat it. And at the end, he picks that number because that's all he has in his mind. That's very, very similar, an exposure effect of what we try and do at Revamp. And that is why it's bias number 2.
100%. And like, this is another one where like, if you're just posting organic content, like you say, all the time, whether your prospect knows it or not, you are still top of mind for them. So again, it just goes to show how important not just paid ads are, not just how the service is, but your marketing in general, because the more you're in front of somebody, the more likely they are going to sign up with you when the time is right.
Google done a study on touch points, didn't they? This is some years ago now. I remember Daniel Priestley talking about this like 15 years ago, about where a customer needs 8 touch points to inquire or buy a product. I think
something like 8, 7, 6.
Yeah,
the whole point is
something like that.
Yeah,
and those touch points can come in any kind of form, right? Whether it's content, whether it's face to face, whether it's a referral, whatever it is. But they need 8 separate occasions to be able to then make a purchasing decision. So whenever people are seeing the brand Revamp around, and then maybe 10 minutes later they get an ad which says Revamp, okay, to our 6-week challenge, they are more inclined to buy.
100%. Definitely. Bias number 3 is probably the one that we tap into more than anything else, and one that has actually yielded a lot of early results when we launched Revamp, is bandwagon effect. Now, you may have obviously heard of this one before, but essentially what this is when someone believes something, when somebody sees other people doing the same thing that they're about to do, they believe it more and therefore are more inclined to actually do the thing, right? So I think there's loads of social experiments that have been done where, you throw somebody into a middle of a town by themselves and you tell them to start shouting something out by themselves. They're not really going to want to do that. Whereas if you throw them into a group of other people shouting the same thing, then there's more chance of them actually following and doing that, following the pack. And that's what bandwagon effect is. And we use this to this day, but we used it a lot when we were actually launching the gym and after the sales consult. So if somebody signs up, the first thing, what do? When somebody signs up, we get them to hold their t-shirt, we take a picture of that person, and we put that on our Instagram stories with a call to action to sign up as well. So what this enabled us to do from day one, because we didn't necessarily have any social proof from other people getting results because we're just opening, we used other people signing up as the social proof, right? To create this idea of the bandwagon effect. And we do this through loads of different ways as well. So in our ads, we actually talk about, at the time when we were launching, we were the fastest growing gym. Because that's just fact. Within 1 month, we ended up getting 30, 40 people sign up. So we use that in terms of our language. Plus, loads of people talk about us. So we can also use the fact that we're the gym in Hadley that everyone is talking about, which again taps into that bias. Bandwagon effect.
Love it. Number 4, confirmation bias. This is a big one. We got on our notes here about horoscopes. People wonder why they're so accurate.
Do you believe in horoscopes?
No. No, I don't. I actually didn't know what I was.
Oh, really?
I don't actually think I was...
What, in general? Or
yeah. Well, we can go there if you want.
But the thing is with horoscopes, like literally, they say things that are true to everyone. So like I could say, Jack, do you want a horoscope? You say, yeah. And I say like, Jack, you are destined for big things, but one small decision is going to lead to big results. And then you're thinking, what could that small decision be? But the trick is to read all the other horoscopes, because then you realize actually, yeah, they all kind of apply to me.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and it's the same with Chinese fortune cookies.
Yeah.
But it's, humans tend to recognize stuff that confirms their own perceptions. So if the horoscope come out and said you're destined for big things, and I had the confidence in and believed I was destined for big things, I'm obviously going to believe it, right? And we can use this obviously within our marketing is the number one way. And listening to people and gaining data from your leads is obviously a huge thing. So when we compile consultation form submissions, we have like a word and phrase bank, right? So for example, when people say, I want to sign because I want my mojo back, or something like, I go into big gyms and I feel like
intimidated,
right? So then, well, really simply for us, we just use those things in our marketing list. So the things that we see a lot, we put that out in our marketing. You know, you want to get your mojo back, sign up to X or Y consultation. Because then people see that marketing, they go, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah.
Okay. They relate straight away to that. So it's this confirmation bias of what they already believed. So making sure that we're building those phrases and those frequently talked about subjects is how we can like embed ourselves in people's minds.
Yeah, and another good example of this and a way to kind of get more bang for your buck from this is like all of your testimonials that you'll undoubtedly have as a personal trainer / studio owner. Just transcribe all of those testimonials and like look for common themes or look for patterns, because there will be some. And you know, we had the same thing. We invited 4 or 5 people down to film testimonials a couple of months back, and all of them said relatively the same stuff. Like, you know, like you just said there, I don't want to join a big gym. I came here, it feels like a community. I've got my mojo back. I've boosted my energy. Like those kind of ways in which they describe the solution is so important that you use that in your own marketing, because you've got evidence there that it works. Next bias is recency effect. That is a very hard word for me to say with a lisp. Recency. But anyway,
I was going to do an impression.
What this is this is the like when the very last thing people see in the sales process influences the decision to buy. Okay, so it's basically hanging something in front of them which makes it a no-brainer to actually follow through on the call to action. Okay, so this is one that I think personal trainers and studio owners don't do a lot of, and they could do a lot more of it.
Yeah.
An example of how we do this. So obviously we have our sales consultation. During that sales consultation for 30 minutes, we talk about loads of different things. We set goals. You conduct the movement analysis, a body comp test, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of information that is shared up until the point where you simply ask, shall we get started then?
Yeah.
And that question obviously requires an answer from them. So we want that final touch point where they have to make a decision to be something that is going to help influence that decision. Okay. So what we tend to do is on that final slide of the sales deck that we have, it says next steps, right? Here are the next steps. You then talk through the next step in terms of what life would look like once they sign up now. But on that page, like that's prime real estate that you can fill with social proof, because what tends to happen naturally, and I noticed this when you first were taking sales consultations and being in the room, is that when you ask that question about whether they want to sign up or not, obviously in their head, they're trying to think through it and whether they can afford it, whether they want to jump into it, whether it's the right time, all this kind of thing. So usually when the questions are asked about finances, it's very rare for the recipient to actually look you directly in the eye.
Yeah.
Right. So what then tends to happen is their eyes start to wander away. And especially if you've got some kind of resource or slide presentation or laptop there assisting with the whole consultation, their eyes tend to wander towards that thing.
They would look weird just looking at the wall, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they'll look at the laptop, which is in front of you both. And on that laptop, it says next steps, but also on that whole slide is every single person that has ever signed up for Revamp holding up their t-shirt. So what that shows is that recency effect of like, look, this is the last thing that I'm looking at. This is the last thing that I'm focusing on whilst I'm now making the decision to jump in. All of these other people that I'm looking at right here have made that decision and have come out the other side and are happy because they've done it.
And all of these people right here look like me.
Exactly that. So that is an example of how you can use recency effect in your marketing, and there are loads and loads and loads of different ways that you could also apply it. But that's one that we do. Hey, quick one from us. If you're enjoying this episode, you'll love our free weekly newsletter.
It's for current and aspiring studio owners who are looking for the latest growth hacks to sign up more members and keep them.
It's a quick 2-minute email covering the stuff we're testing in our own gyms.
So you'll be getting access to what's working today.
If you're interested, you can join 3,500 gym owners and go to thefitpreneur.com and subscribe.
That's thefitpreneur.com. Anyway, back to the episode. Cool. Bias number 6, fear of missing out, FOMO.
FOMO. Who gets FOMO?
I
don't know why I'm like addressing like the room when there's only Henry in here, but like
I always get FOMO. I get FOMO all the time.
When was the last time you got FOMO?
I think last week or something you were out with Dad, and I was like, I just want to stop being a dad here to my children. I want to go see them because I had fear of missing out.
See, I can't remember the last time I ever got fear of missing out. I don't know what that says about me.
You're a boring guy.
I think that's probably right, to be honest.
But fear of missing out's the big one. We celebrate our members all the time. They are our heroes in what we do. So we have big events. They get incredible results. All of those kind of things. We put them out there to the public. We put them out there to our email list. We have Henry come and create amazing content at our events, or people having fun, a great time. And it keeps us always high in demand, and FOMO is always rife.
Yeah,
I get FOMO even though I'm there.
And I think FOMO kind of taps into a lot of these previous biases that we've talked about. I think it trickles into the bandwagon effect, 100%. When other people are seen to be doing the thing that you want to be doing. Mm-hmm. So there's loads of stuff that this taps into, and it's probably the most commonly talked about bias, fear of missing out.
Yeah, love it.
So you want to show what it's like to be a revamp member for people that I always use an analogy, and I think I've used it on this podcast before, of like you're organizing a house party. You want to invite all of the cool people into your house for this house party, but you also want a load of people tapping on the window, wishing that they could be inside. And that's the approach that you want to take when you're marketing your gym.
I don't think there's anything else to add.
No.
Let's go on to number 7.
Number 7 is conservatism bias. So this is usually a fear of something new, right? So people are stuck in their ways. They don't really want to get introduced into something which they have no idea what it includes. And they already have this kind of preconceived notion of what, in this case, fitness is. And they don't want anybody to come and ruin that. Okay, so you'll get early adopters and you'll get late adopters. But this is for the late adopters, because a way of handling this, and this is so true, especially in unsophisticated markets. So we're in, a fairly small populated town in the middle of the Suffolk countryside. So people's perception of fitness is quite traditional, or they have this kind of broad perception of it, which is, influenced by media and all this kind of thing. So unfortunately, this one you can take, especially personal trainers, might have to take a slight hit on their ego in terms of how they market, because this is about using language and using phrases and using even just programming in a way that is safe, right, for people. And I say safe meaning in terms of actually people don't feel intimidated doing something completely foreign to them. This is like a way of training that I'm used to, I know about, and I'm doing it. And then it's about you as a coach or you as a studio owner to start embedding different programming and different language to help educate them the further into the journey they go. So we actually prefer letting members train the way that they would like, especially at the beginning. So they feedback in terms of the movements and things that we program. Because oftentimes what happens, especially with general population, they are influenced by people like Joe Wicks, right? Online, 30-minute hit workouts and sweating and all this kind of thing, which, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for a seasoned personal trainer or a studio owner, obviously there's way more stuff that you can go into in terms of actually helping somebody lose weight. So what we do instead, we actually start allowing them to train the way that they would like at the beginning, and then start filtering in our ways of doing things later on. And that obviously helps when it comes to that conservatism bias.
Love it. Well explained. Number 8, final one. Bias number 8 is outcome bias. The outcome should be front and center of your marketing all the time, right? But the outcome isn't always how coaches and studio owners perceive what the outcome is. I think especially with the online world, social proof and things like that have become like a massive thing. And what happens is, and when people market their studio in the wrong way, they would have everything that the studio and what your membership includes, right? At Revamp, we productize our memberships, which means really they don't just get 3 sessions, right? They don't just get a nutritionist. They don't just get all of that stuff. What they get is a lifestyle. They get to become a Revamp member. They get to ingrain and embed that into their identity, which is the most important thing for us, okay? Because they're ultimately paying for a lifestyle. Our members are paying for a lifestyle. They're not paying for 3 sessions a week, for example, right? So we always, especially with our internal marketing, lay that out to members, okay? And obviously we use that to go to the general public as well. But outcome bias is a big one. So don't list your features, because you're not a SaaS company. Make your studio and make your product a way of someone's being, right? Like, it is their identity now. They're a Revamp member. It's like, I mean, a big company that did this so well is Rolex. Watches, right? It's not just about the 20 grand to own a Rolex watch.
It's the feeling it gives you.
And it's about being a Rolex watch owner.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like, you know, this is why we never, like we say, sell sessions. Like, it's never like, oh yeah, you want to become a Revamp member? Cool, it's 3 sessions a week and it costs this much. It's like, the sessions are only one component of the overall membership. But we make it clear, obviously, there's lots of other things that go into the actual membership itself. And they're all geared to help the client reach a desired outcome. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. So yeah, those are the 8 scientific ways that we get members for our gym, and hopefully you'll start being able to get members for your gym now. And we'll just roll through them quickly once more. So we've got loss aversion, which is obviously what would happen to your client if they didn't sign up for your service, and how can you paint that picture. Number 2 is the mere exposure effect. How can you just be front and center all the time so that when it comes to that individual making a decision to buy, they only think of you? Bandwagon effect. How can you position other people who have already taken the step to sign up with you in front of your prospects to make them more inclined to sign up? Confirmation bias. Making sure that you're using language and phrases that your prospects and your clients use on a daily basis in your marketing. Because if you use something which already has proof of it working, then you'll likely convert more people. Recency effect, making sure that last touch point is always something which helps get that prospect over the line. In our case, obviously, it's a photo collage on that final slide. Fear of missing out, obviously a commonly known bias, but making sure that your business and your community is something that everybody wants to be a part of. And if they're not, you build so much tension in the marketplace where people just are lining up and queuing up to want to buy from you. Number 7, conservatism bias, making sure that you're speaking the way that your prospects speak and you're not scaring them away with any kind of new jargon or new ways of programming, especially in an unsophisticated market. In a sophisticated market, that can sometimes work, but just making sure that you're easing your new clients in, and how you deliver that in your marketing is obviously down to you. And then finally, outcome bias. And this is a big one, just making sure that it's more than just your sessions. It's more than just, your check-ins and things like that. It's actually a lifestyle. It's an identity that you're asking a prospect to sign up for. So making sure that the outcome is always front and center. It's never the features. It's always what they're going to achieve. There we go.
I need to go lie down.
I feel like I just want to go and pick up a Bunsen burner and start doing science stuff now. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm going for a lie down. That hurt the brain, but hopefully that was a big one for people. Share it, guys. Subscribe to YouTube if you're watching it there. Make sure you get the notification bell on. Is that what people say?
I think so. Well, we just said it, so it is now.
Yeah, it's what we say.
Yeah, bandwagon effect.
That's the pod.
See you later, guys. Bye.